Let's be honest. Most men think they know how to touch a woman. They think it's about technique, about what they see in movies, or what some guru told them. But the truth? The truth is far more subtle, far more powerful, and far more dangerous if misunderstood. The places that truly ignite a woman, the points that awaken her deepest attention, are not just physical. They are emotional, psychological, and primal all at once. And if you don't understand them, you're leaving a connection on the table that most men never even realize exists. Here's the first thing most guys get wrong. They think a woman reacts the same way to touch that a man does, that a hand on the shoulder is just a hand on the shoulder, that a gentle brush of the fingers is nothing more than a gesture. Wrong. Her body is a map of sensitivity, a terrain of psychological triggers. Every nerve, every subtle touch communicates something beyond words. It's about feeling safe, feeling desired, and feeling understood all at once. Miss the signal, and you're just another guy touching her. Hit the signal, and you awaken attention, curiosity, even longing. The neck, the side of the neck, just below the ear. Most men underestimate how lethal this can be, not because it's sexual, though it often becomes that, but because it is intimate in a way that feels personal. Touch here lightly, and she notices, not just physically, but emotionally. This area is linked to trust, to vulnerability. A confident touch here says, I see you, I know you, even in the parts you don't show. And her subconscious takes note immediately. Now, think about the small of her back. This is not about grabbing or force. This is about guidance, protection, presence. Women react to touch in places that feel safe, that feel guided. A man who touches here subtly communicates dominance without aggression, attention without desperation. It's an unconscious signal that you are both aware and considerate, powerful yet respectful. Few men ever master this, which is why most fail to leave a lasting impression. Then there's the hands themselves. Her hands, your hands, the way they brush. Your grip, your motion, your timing, it all matters. A nervous hand conveys insecurity. A heavy hand conveys force. But a hand that adapts to hers, that mirrors, that anticipates, it's magnetic. It's a psychological bridge. And here's the secret. The anticipation, the pause before the touch, can be more electrifying than the touch itself. She feels it coming. Her mind begins to race. The tension is intoxicating. But let's get even deeper. The collarbone, the area just above the chest, near the shoulder. This is the line between friendship and fascination. Gentle, confident, fleeting touches here trigger a primal awareness, an instinctual note of attraction, your awareness of her comfort, your timing, your subtle intention. This is where psychology and physicality collide. Miss it, and it's just another touch. Master it, and she remembers you, even if she never admits it. So the lesson here is brutal but necessary. Touch is a language, and not a simple one. It's coded, nuanced, and intimate. To understand it, you must think like her, feel like her, predict her reactions before they happen. This is not manipulation. This is mastery of connection, of intimacy, of human psychology. Most men never even notice the subtle, invisible cues a woman gives when she's sensitive to touch. You've been trained to focus on the obvious, the overt, the flashy gestures. But the real power lies in the whispers, the almost imperceptible signals that scream attraction louder than any words ever could. Women's bodies are constantly communicating. Every shift, every breath, every micro-reaction tells you where she is sensitive, where she is curious, and where she is utterly captivated. And if you can read this, if you can act on it without hesitation, you become unforgettable. Start with the inner forearm. Most guys skip this, thinking it's just an arm, but touch her forearm lightly, slowly, with intention. Watch her reaction. Does she draw away slightly, or does she lean in? That tiny muscle, that soft skin, is a highway straight to her subconscious. It's not about lust, it's about trust, about attention, about making her feel understood without a single word. And here's the truth. The more confident you are in touching areas like this, the more she subconsciously believes you know her. And women remember men who seem to know them, even when they can't explain why. Move up to the jawline. Not aggressively, not with force, but with gentle, respectful awareness. The jawline is a tension hotspot. Women hold stress here, they hide emotions here. A hand brushing or a fingertip grazing, light and deliberate, communicates control and care at the same time. It's intimate without being threatening. It signals that you are present, that you notice more than the surface. And once again, the psychology is clear. You're triggering vulnerability and attention simultaneously. Vulnerability breeds connection. Connection breeds desire. Now, consider the small of the back again, but this time think about the power of movement. A guiding hand that is steady, deliberate, but never invasive. It speaks volumes. It says, I am here, I am aware of your space, I can move you through it without breaking your comfort. Most men never realize how magnetic this is. It's about signaling protection and confidence without words. And here's the kicker. The brain of a woman doesn't just process touch physically. Every signal of safety and confidence ignites dopamine, a subtle craving for more interaction, more attention, more connection. Don't forget the back of the knees. Sounds odd? Most men laugh, dismiss it, or outright ignore it. But this is a sensitive, primal area. A light, unexpected touch here during a playful moment or subtle guidance can create a rush she didn't even see coming. Women react to subtlety, to unpredictability that feels safe, not reckless. The trick is timing and context. Touch without pressure, tease without forcing. You're creating a psychological footprint, not just a physical one. And the spine. Along the mid-back, lightly tracing, not dragging, your fingers communicate attunement to her body's rhythm. This isn't sexual, it's awareness, it's connection. It's showing her that you notice the unspoken. The effect? She feels seen, felt, and mentally engaged. This is the difference between men who are remembered and men who are forgotten. Touch is never just touch. It's attention, it's psychology, it's connection. If you ignore these areas, you're missing the real map. If you master them, you're not just a man touching a woman, you're a man speaking her language in ways most men will never understand. The difference between a man who is remembered and one who fades into the background is not strength, money, or charm. It's subtlety, it's understanding where to touch, how to touch, and when to touch in ways that awaken attention without screaming desire. Most men panic, overcompensate, or misread signals, turning a moment of connection into a moment of awkwardness. But there is a secret map, a set of zones and triggers that few men ever notice, and even fewer understand the psychology behind. Think about the sides of her torso, just beneath the arms. This is a vulnerability zone, shielded by natural instinct. A light, deliberate touch here is almost invisible to the untrained eye, but her subconscious reacts immediately. It's not sexual at first, it's primal. It communicates awareness, presence, and attention. She notices. Her pulse may shift slightly, her posture subtly changes. She may even unconsciously lean in. And that small reaction is a doorway into emotional intimacy, which often precedes physical attraction far more reliably than brute force or flashy gestures ever will. Move to the ears. Not the lobes, not the obvious. Think the area just behind them. A whisper of a touch, a gentle graze, or a subtle tracing of a fingertip can create an electric charge she didn't see coming. Why? Because the ears are wired for sensitivity to attention, to care, to signals of interest. It's deeply psychological. The brain links touch here with trust, intimacy, and alertness. You're literally bypassing conscious defenses and speaking directly to instinct. Men who understand this can make a woman remember a single moment for days or weeks without saying a word. Then there's the curve of the waist. Again, most men think they know this area. They assume grabbing, hugging, or squeezing equals connection. Wrong. The true power lies in subtle, guiding touches. A hand resting lightly, moving confidently but without pressure, signals dominance, protection, and awareness simultaneously. The psychology here is fascinating. Women respond to touches that feel safe, yet deliberate, that communicate presence without aggression. This triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone, creating attachment, attention, and a desire for more interaction, all without overt sexuality. Consider also the inner thighs, not in the obvious sexual sense, but as a reflection of trust and personal boundaries. A light touch here during a seated conversation, a playful adjustment, or a guided motion communicates respect while acknowledging sensitivity. It's the art of balance, awareness, confidence, and timing. The emotional impact is profound because it triggers vulnerability safely, showing that you notice more than just the surface. Most men never learn this nuance, which is why their touch is forgettable. And the scalp. Yes, the scalp. A gentle brush of fingers, even a playful tousle, triggers relaxation, trust, and attention. It's primal. Women remember the men who make them feel physically and mentally at ease, who navigate their body with confidence and understanding. The takeaway is brutal and empowering. Touch is a psychological language. It communicates before words, before intentions, even before emotions. Master these zones: the neck, the forearms, the spine, the sides, the ears, the scalp, and you're no longer just a man in a room. You're an experience she remembers. She associates you with presence, understanding, and subtle power. And that is a form of influence that lasts far beyond the moment. Touch is never just physical. Most men treat it like it's a simple act, a way to impress or to gain attention. But what they don't realize is that touch is an emotional weapon. A subtle touch, delivered with awareness, can bypass a woman's conscious mind and speak directly to her instincts. It can spark curiosity, comfort, attraction, or even longing, all in a split second. And if you don't understand timing, pressure, and context, you're leaving a powerful tool completely wasted. Think about the small gestures that most men ignore. A light touch on the wrist as you laugh at a joke, a fingertip grazing her arm when guiding her through a doorway, or a playful brush along her shoulder as you lean in to speak. These aren't bold moves, they're whispers, and whispers have a way of resonating louder than shouts. Women notice the confidence behind subtle touches. They notice when a man is aware of her reactions, when he adapts instinctively, when he touches without forcing. This is the difference between forgettable and unforgettable. The key is anticipation. Touch before she expects it, but always in a way that feels natural and safe. Anticipation triggers attention. It creates a tiny thrill in her mind. He notices me. He understands me. He sees me. The psychological effect is immediate. Her subconscious begins scanning your body language, your timing, your confidence. And if she senses you are attuned, she starts craving that presence more. This is not about seduction in the obvious sense. It's about influence, subtle yet undeniable. Let's talk about the power of pauses. Most men rush from one gesture to the next, thinking action equals impact. Wrong. The moments between touches are more powerful than the touches themselves. Hold a hand near hers. Pause before letting it brush against her. Linger with eye contact just before guiding her. These pauses inject tension, curiosity, and awareness. They elevate your presence in her mind. You're no longer just touching, you're commanding attention, creating anticipation, and signaling confidence all at once. The inner elbow, behind the knee, the small of the back, these zones respond to subtle pressure paired with timing. Not forceful pressure, but precise, mindful contact. Women sense control without dominance, awareness without aggression, and connection without manipulation. And when this is done right, every brush, every graze, every accidental, almost touch is logged in her memory, creating a sense of intimacy she can't consciously explain. Here's the hardest truth. Most men fail because they ignore the psychological undercurrent of touch. They touch to impress, to grab, or to provoke a reaction. That's instinct, not intelligence. The men who are remembered, the men who ignite attention, are the ones who see touch as a language of influence, as a map of the body's sensitive zones, as a bridge between comfort and intrigue. They are precise, patient, and aware. They touch to communicate presence, understanding, and subtle power. Master this, and you become unforgettable. Miss it, and you are just another hand on her shoulder. A fleeting impression she will forget. It's brutal, but it's the truth. Your success in connection is written in the spaces between touches, in the awareness you bring, and in the anticipation you create. The truth most men will never admit is that attraction isn't just about looks, money, or confidence. It's about presence, timing, and the way you make her feel without saying a word. Touch is the ultimate amplifier of this presence, but it's not random. It's not about force or frequency. It's about psychology, intention, and precision. The men who truly captivate a woman understand that touch is a conversation, a narrative, a rhythm she unconsciously reads and responds to. Miss the rhythm, and the story falls flat. Master it, and she's hooked before she even realizes it. Think about the chest, not the obvious center, but the area just below the collarbone, along the upper pectoral. A subtle touch here, fleeting and confident, communicates awareness and intent. It's intimate without being aggressive. Most men never touch this area because they fear it's too bold. That fear is exactly why it's powerful. Women notice the men who move with awareness into zones of sensitivity without violating boundaries. The effect is psychological. She feels seen, acknowledged, and subtly desired, and her brain begins associating you with that feeling. Then there's the nape of the neck, the underside, the part rarely reached by casual contact. A touch here is electric, not because it's sexual, but because it communicates trust and attunement. Your hand moves with awareness. She feels it without fully realizing why it affects her. The anticipation, the subtle pressure, the timing, all of it signals that you understand her body in a way few men ever will. That understanding triggers dopamine, oxytocin, and attention simultaneously. You're no longer just present, you're becoming memorable. Do not underestimate playful touches on areas like the sides of her torso, the back of the knees, or the inner forearms. These are signals of awareness and confidence. Each micro movement, each deliberate pause tells her, I see you. I notice your reactions. I respect your space, yet I am attuned to you. Women crave this awareness. It feels rare, potent, and even addictive. Most men never realize that it's these touches, not overt moves, that ignite deep interest and long-lasting attention. Combine this with subtle motion, guiding her hand, lightly brushing her arm while leaning in, or creating a rhythmic interplay between proximity and distance. These are psychological levers. They control tension, curiosity, and anticipation simultaneously. A man who masters this doesn't just touch, he communicates dominance, awareness, and care without words. That is the invisible power most men will never understand. Here's the final truth in this layer. The body responds before the mind catches up. Touch in the right zones with the right intention at the right time ignites responses she may not consciously recognize but will feel deeply. Her attention shifts. Her curiosity spikes. Her subconscious records the connection, the tension, the anticipation. And that, my friend, is how you become unforgettable. The brutal reality is that most men will never learn this. They will fumble, misread signals, or be afraid to touch at all. But if you take this seriously, study her reactions, master the zones, control timing and pressure, you step into a rare category. You become the man who is remembered long after the room empties, the conversation ends, and the moment fades. Everything you've been told about touching a woman, about attraction, about connection, it's incomplete. Most men are blind to the psychological undercurrent that drives attention, desire, and memory. You can be strong, handsome, charming, even confident, but if your touch lacks awareness, timing, and subtlety, you're just another man in the crowd. The truth is brutal. Touch is a language few men speak, and those who do command influence, attention, and even fascination without uttering a word. Consider the interplay of emotion and touch. Every area we've discussed, the neck, collarbone, inner forearm, small of the back of the knees, sides, scalp, is a portal to her subconscious. A confident, precise, and empathetic touch opens those portals. She may not even realize why she feels drawn to you, why her pulse shifts, why her attention lingers longer than it should. This is where psychology and physicality converge. A single touch, delivered with the right timing and pressure, can trigger curiosity, attraction, and an emotional imprint she carries long after you part ways. But here's the thing most men fail to grasp. It's not just where you touch, it's how and when. Touch must mirror her reactions, anticipate her comfort, and adapt with intuition. Hesitate, and she feels uncertainty. Rush, and she feels intrusion. Move with confidence, awareness, and subtle restraint, and you ignite attention and desire simultaneously. That is the invisible power of mastery. That is what separates a fleeting encounter from a lasting impression. Playfulness matters too. The back of the knees, the sides of the torso, even the scalp, all respond to gentle teasing, subtle nudges, and confident guidance. Women respond not to force, but to presence and control that feels safe, intentional, and aware. Each light brush, each well-timed graze, each deliberate pause, these are psychological triggers. They create anticipation, elevate attention, and make every moment with you feel charged, even electric. This is the language most men never learn to speak. Now, here's a challenge for you. A test of everything you've absorbed. Think carefully. Imagine a woman leaning into your touch, but only in one area, the one that triggers her most deeply, psychologically, and emotionally. Which area would that be? The neck, the collarbone, the forearm, or somewhere else entirely? Take a moment, reflect, and then write your answer in the comments. This is more than curiosity. It's a test of your observation, awareness, and understanding of what we've uncovered together. If you've learned anything, take it seriously. Mastering touch is not manipulation. It's mastery of connection, empathy, and influence. Start paying attention, observe subtle reactions, respect boundaries, and move with intention. The men who do this correctly are remembered. They leave imprints. They command attention without speaking. They become impossible to forget. So here's what I want you to do next. Comment your answer, like this video if it hit you hard, subscribe to join me for more insights into female psychology, and share this with a friend who desperately needs to understand the hidden truths we just revealed. Don't just watch, engage, learn, and step into the rare category of men who understand touch, timing, and influence like few ever will.